when they come on and when they go out, we'll be racing at the Bahrain International Circuit in Sakhir. It's a lights out and away we go. Josh Iwashi gets off the line well, as does Clausen from third place, as does Tomo Jr. who gets alongside the Aston Martin. So Josh Iwashi leads into turn 1, then we've got the McLaren alongside. He's forward burst into turn 1 there, banging the wheels there. Josh Iwashi's clear of the rest. Inossia gets back into second place. It's Tomo Jr. who gets up to third ahead of Clausen. Milam's made up ground in fifth, had a Gerber. Gareth Hall's made up ground brilliantly up into seventh place. He's the highest of those on the mediums. Contact there between the Mercedes of Clausen and Tomo Jr. And we've got a virtual safety car already because F13 Mo is out of the race and he's crashed at turn 3, Jake. Here we go on the restart then, so Zabesti leads, and we've got Gareth Hall and Mr. Grumpy going side by side into turn 1. Who's going to break the laces of the two? It's Gareth Hall who stays in front. Mr. Grumpy still within the car, staying alongside, side by side, and Mr. Grumpy gets up into second place. Hall goes over the runoff area, but he's rejoined behind him. He's got the Ferrari alongside now. Looks to red, looks to get in on the around the outside into turn 4 they go, and it's the Ferrari gets up into third place. So Gareth Hall going backwards on the restarts, but Sabetti doing a very good restart as we expected to lead the field out of it. As we can see, Inossia trying to make a move on Josh Iwashi now. Now it's important that Inossia can get in front of him here because he's on the medium tyres, whereas Joshi is on the hards. And someone's in the wall. It's Clausen. Clausen's in the wall and he gets to turn 7 and he's out of the race. Would you believe it? Yeah, Josh Iwashi's gone to the back of the field. I was just going to say, Inossia got in front of him and that was why. Josh Iwashi has gone for a spin entering turn 13. He must have took a bit too much curb on the inside of that deadly turn 12 corner. And he's fallen to the back of the field in 17th place. Now he's got it with it all today from here until the checker flag. So Sabetti going to the right before they get down to turn 4. Mr. Grumpy thought about we may be able to do a complete move around the outside. What a move from Mr. Grumpy to take the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Sabetti. So he saw the gap round the outside. And with it being off camera as well, that gave him the high ground to get the job done. So Istrai doing very well in the Haas, but I think he's going to find it very difficult to hold off Inossia and Mr. Grumpy. But it just depends how well he decides to take it. Istrai, one of the newcomers, says Inossia goes for the move of the DRS. The Haas didn't get the best drive coming out of turn 10. And Inossia is through into the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Inossia in front, down the inside into turn 11 on the Haas. And he's completed the move, and that could well be the decisive move for the race victory. Yeah, so he will not keep the point for the fastest lap because he's out of the race. Kovalainen, yet another retirement from this Bahrain Grand Prix. Can his teammate hold on to the race lead here? Because Mr. Grumpy has got DRS on the start-finish straight. Which way is Inossia going to go here? He's going to go to the right. Holds his line low, covers his line low. That's very smart driving there from Billy as he holds his line into turn 1. No contact made on the exit, and they will do battle once more on the exit of turn 3. Mr. Grumpy with DRS into the 6th stream of the Aston Martin. Now he's going to go to the outside like we've seen other drivers do earlier. Not quite so there, but he's able to do the switch back on the exit of turn 4. Mr. Grumpy not alongside the Aston Martin. Inossia stays ahead. Oh, Mr. Grumpy got caught out on the curbs there and falls back a little bit from the Aston Martin. Here we go then, one last time on the start-finish straight. Can Mr. Grumpy get the job done into turn 1? We're right on board with the Alpine now. Which way is Inossia going to go? He's going to go to the right like he did so last time into turn 1. Covers his line though. This is very smart driving from Inossia so far. Now Mr. Grumpy, can he get into the switch and get good drive coming out of turn 3? DRS is open on the Alpine. He's not close enough to have a go there, so Inossia should be able to fend him off between now and the checker flag, but one mistake from Inossia and the victory will go to Mr. Grumpy. Yeah, Mr. Grumpy not close enough to have a go. So that may well be his last chance gone, but never give up until the checker flag. It's not over until it is over. But the Aston Martin spins, he's out of the race. Inossia has lost it. With a few corners remaining, now hands the lead to Mr. Grumpy and Alpine. Mr. Grumpy from the back of the field at the start of the race is going to take victory in Bahrain in F13 in the PSGL. Mr. Grumpy, in the unlikeliest of circumstances, wins the Bahrain Grand Prix in Sakhir. Now who's going to take second place? I think it's going to be Istrai because Steve has picked up another time penalty. Gareth Hall's going to miss out on second, so Istrai is second. Gareth Hall is third. Josh Iwashi up to 4th. Steve is 5th with the time penalty applied. Lutzer Red 6th. Sabetti 7th. Dino is 8th. What drama on the last lap, Jake Warrior, to Inossia. Ready to go. All 20 cars line up on the grid. for round 2 of the 13 in the PSGL. Who will come away with a victory at Paul Ricard? The 5 red lights, come on! It's lights out and away we go, and Steve gets off to an excellent start. He takes the lead from Gerber before they get into turn 1. Speed Queen also up there into second place. Steve takes the lead into turn 1, and we've got the Aston Martin going side by side, but Speed's coming out of turn 1, and he goes to the back of the field. Clausen makes an excellent start as well in the Mercedes. He gets up into second place, and look at Mr. Grumpy as well, up to third. Would you believe it? Last week's winner already up there, and it's Don Danks in 4th place, followed by Sarking. Sono Junior has made up places, has Istrai and Sabetti. The lead bonnet is currently glitching at the moment, but what we do know for certain is that Steve's got off to a flyer. So Sabetti's in 3rd place now, but he's under threat from Istrai. He's going to have DRS as he's about to go past him into the chicane. They go, and Istrai does get up into 3rd place. Oh, it's contact! Contact between the Haas and the Alfa Romeo, and Istrai goes for a spin. Now the stewards may look at that. Istrai did try an over-ambitious manoeuvre into the chicane. He's got a time penalty as well for exceeding track limits. But, that's a costly error there for the man who was a podium finisher last week in Bahrain. It was a textbook move there from Steve. Gets up into the race lead. Can Sabetti follow suit and get up into P2 by passing the Alpine? As they come through scene once again, is Mr. Grumpy going to fight back as they go almost side by side into Debose? Can Mr. Grumpy get back in front? The answer is yes. Brilliant move from Mr. Grumpy. Fantastic racing between those two, leaving each other enough space. There's an instant set to 3. Who's that that's gone round? It's Josh Iwashi. He's had a really terrible race so far in this one. It's not got any better for him. He's dropping down the order into 15th. Want to go back to the front though, because Sabetti's under pressure from Gareth Hull as they go onto the Mistral straight once again. Gareth Hull to the inside, wheeling open on both cars, but I think Gareth Hull's going to have the high ground as they go into the Mistral chicane. To the inside, Gareth Hull barges his way through. He gets up into 4th place. As we watch Dino as he approaches the gearbox of his teammate Steve. And we've got Dinos all over the back of Sarking now as they fight over 5th place. Now is Dino going to take advantage of the open gap? That he does! Almost like Prost and Senna back in 1988. He's managed to find his way through there. Excellent move there from Dino. I wonder if Dino may be on a better lap than before. We'll have a look shortly. Steve's in 5th, had a Luke Red, and Mr. Grumpy in 7th. Mr. Grumpy going to the inside there. Look at Luke Red as they go through turn 11 now. Does Mr. Grumpy get ahead? Gets caught out on the curb. Oh, they're just about leaving each other enough space as they go into turn 12 now, which is Bendor. Oh, contact made, but Mr. Grumpy's through. So Tomo Jr. now has 3 more corners to negotiate. It's been a stellar drive from him, from 12th on the grid, and it's going to come through to take victory. Tomo Jr. enters the last turn, coming onto the pit straight. Tomo Jr. is going to take victory here at Paul Ricard. Tomo Jr. wins the French Grand Prix in F13 in the PSGL. Gerber's going to come home in 2nd place with Cameral's 3rd. Dino is going to be 4th. Steve, I believe, is going to drop behind Mr. Grumpy and Luke Red. So Mr. Grumpy's going to go to 5th place. Dino drops to 5th because Luke Red's gone to 4th. So Dino's 5th, Mr. Grumpy 6th. Gareth Hull picking up more points for Williams in 7th. Steve is 8th. Sarking 9th. And Clausen gets his first point of the season in 10th place. Sabetti misses out on points in 11th. Don Danks in 12th. Flying Karatz in 13th place ahead of Istrai. Dan, Speed Quinn and Leonard are the rest of the finishers. But it's Tomo Jr. who is the winner of the French Grand Prix in F13 in the PSGL. It's lights out and away we go. Quinn gets off to a good start. Gerber not as good as we watch Tomo Jr. go to the inside of the Mercedes. They enter through turn 1. Someone has gone off in the background. It's Lennon, the man who's out of the race already before La Source. So he must have had a coming together with someone. We've got a virtual safety car already. So Clausen losing the position at the start there. It is the 3rd race in a row he's qualified in the top 4. So he's lost 1 position so far, but he's in the running, but he's crashed. Clausen crashes on the exit of Stablo, nearly took one of the Alfa Romeos with him. Oh, that's terrible for Clausen. He touched the curb on the exit, and now he's pointing the wrong way. Now, can Gerber get right on the gearbox of Speakwin and have a go with DRS on the Camel Straight? Oh, no, he won't. He's going into the barrier. He's out of the race. So Gerber, after starting on the front row, has lost it at Eau Rouge, and his race has come to an end. That is such a shame. I think someone else has gone into the barrier. Steve's out of it as well. Carnage at Spa. And surely this must be a safety car, and now it is. Inossia putting Camerals under enormous pressure at the moment. Now, Inossia is on the mediums. Camerals is on the hards. So, oh, Speedquin's gone for a spin, though. The race leader has gone for a spin. So, on the exit of Fanya, Speedquin has lost it. He falls behind Inossia. And he's down to 6th place now. So both of them into the pits for a change of tyres as Inossia and Speedquin get past the Ferrari. And someone else is off. It's Mr. Grumpy! So Mr. Grumpy's the next to spin at Eau Rouge. But remarkably, he's kept going. And someone else is off. Camerals into the barrier for Ferrari. And he's out of the race, and that brings out the second safety car of this. So he will not be going any further. He got to the podium last week in France, but he's not going to be finishing today. Gareth Hole and Luke Surratt close and really close to each other right now. But there's Dion Knoll going to the inside of both of them. Makes contact. Has to wait behind a little bit. Orenson's in the wall. It's the Williams of Gareth Hole. And he's been taken out of the race. Was it Mr. Grumpy who came together with him? And we've got yet another safety car. So Mr. Grumpy going to the outside of Dino. He gets through on him. And up into 2nd place he goes. Now Inossia will want to get alongside. Oh, that's the Alfa Romeo of Sabetti ahead. Oh, avoid the barrier there. Inossia, he does so. But he's going to go side by side into Eau Rouge with the Alfa Romeo. He's going to break the latest. Oh, Inossia backed out of it, and wisely so. Still, it's crucial for him to get past Sabetti as soon as he can, which he may do into Pouan. Oh, that's very ambitious there. Contact made. And Inossia spins round, and he nearly takes out 2 other cars with him. So Inossia's got damage to his front wing, surely. And that will be him into the pits for sure at the end of the lap. We can see Flying Kite going side by side with his try as they go into campus, and that's going to allow Joshua Rossi to pull alongside. Now, is he going to get through? He does so. Flying Kite just avoids the wall as well. We'll go back to the front though, because Mr. Grumpy is all over the back of the Ferrari of Luke Surratt as they come towards the bust-up chicane. Side by side going into the last couple of corners of the lap. Mr. Grumpy can't quite get his nose in front, and so he stays behind Luke Surratt for now at least. That's yet another retirement. And Mr. Grumpy's moved into the lead now of Luke Surratt. He's got a penalty to his name. Oh, he had to go through the runoff area of Eau Rouge to avoid hitting the barrier. But Mr. Grumpy's out in front now on the road, but he's got a penalty to his name. So Dino, who does not have a penalty and is running in 3rd place, could be on course to take the victory here as it stands. So 4 laps remaining. Oh, Mr. Grumpy's gone! Mr. Grumpy in the barrier! So another race leader goes from this race. Mr. Grumpy has crashed out at Radion. And we've got another safety car here at Spa. Mr. Grumpy, the championship leader, who had a good chance of extending his lead at the top of the title battle, is not going to score points. And Dino going to the inside of Dion Knoll and gets up into 2nd place. So through Eau Rouge now for the penultimate time in this race. Sabetti. Can he get through safely? No, he can't. He's into the barrier. He's out. Sabetti, another race leader, is out of the race. Gets through. So we're now on the last lap of the race. Dino gets through Eau Rouge safely. But Inossia doesn't. Inossia's going to go into the barrier. Is he out of the race? Yes, he is. Inossia's gone. So for the 2nd time this season, Inossia loses a points finish by crashing out on the final lap. But here's Dino. After starting at the back of the field as well, would you believe it? So for the 2nd time this season, a driver starting at the very back of the field is going to take victory. This time though, it's going to be Dino and Red Bull through the bus stop chicane for the last time. Dino takes the victory here at Spa. He wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Luke Surratt crosses the line 2nd on the road at least. But who's going to be on the podium? It's going to be Tomo Jr. So Tomo Jr. is on the podium for Alfa Romeo in 3rd. On side. There's two McLarens on the second row. The 5 red lights appear in front of the drivers. It's lights out, and away we go. Whitkiller got the better start than Gerber as they come towards the Rettivilio corner, as Milan looks to try and get his McLaren up into second place as well. So Whitkiller goes into the lead. One of the Alpes goes into the wall. It looks like Mr. Grumpy's gone off there. It looks like one of the Alfa Romeo's gone off through the chicane. That was Sabetti. But Whitkiller stays in the lead with Gerber in second place. It's Istrai who's up from 6th to 3rd place. It's Milan down to 4th place. Clausen up to 5th with Dion Nolan and F13 Mo going side by side through the Curva Grande. There's yellow flags they've set to one. I think one of the Red Bulls may be in trouble. We'll come to that shortly. But Whitkiller running wide on the exit of the Dela Rosa chicane. But he's got enough of a margin to stay in front with Gerber in second place. It's Istrai ahead of Milan. And it's Clausen who makes it to Mercedes in the top 5 so far. Now hopefully it's closed back in on cam rolls in the battle over 8th. Oh, and Whitkiller's gone. He's made a mistake on the exit of the Rettivilio. He's lost the race lead to Gerber. And he's fallen behind Clausen as well. So we're going to see a change of leader twice in the space of just under a lap, as Inosia has gone off the track on the exit of the Ascari chicane. He continues at least, but that's the front wing gone, and that'll be him off into the pits. As the two go into battle as they enter the Ascari chicane, but they make contact and damage. It's caused carnage behind. Camrose' front wing is gone. And we've got another safety car. And Gerber's off into the runoff area as well at the Ascari chicane. Now, he should be able to get out of there. Now, Gareth Hall is going to have the DRS on the start-finish straight here because he's most certainly within a second behind Lutz Red. Lutz Red makes a mistake, though. Or is that to use the outside so that he can use the DRS on the start-finish straight? He lets Gareth Hall through so that Lutz Red can stay in touch with him in the slipstream. So on his final lap then, coming towards the Curva Alboreto for the last time. Clausen, who went into the race with only 1 point to his name, is going to most certainly multiply that by 17. He wins the Italian Grand Prix at Monza in F13 in the PSGL. Very well done to him. Very well done to Milo, who gets his first podium of the season in second place. Gareth Hall is third, ahead of Lutz Red, who closes in on Dino in the championship standings slightly. Dino comes home 5th. It's lights out, and away we go. Noel got the better start by the looks of things. It's going to lead into Abbey Corner, I believe, but no, it's the Alfa Romeo of Speedquin who maintains the advantage over the Aston Martin. Don Danks in 3rd place. Joshiwashi up in position as well. Gerber's made a terrible start, though. From 3rd on the grid, he's down to 5th already as the drivers make their way through the loop for the first time. Speedquin in the lead, Dion Noel 2nd, and it's Joshi who dives to the inside of Don Danks at the loop to go off into 3rd place. So Joshi with a brilliant start there for Alpine. One of the McLarens going off onto the runoff area. It looks like F13 Mo that could well be. But Joshiwashi is in 3rd place behind Dion Noel, and Speedquin has a yellow flag in sector 1, but it's cleared away anyway. We'll be ready to go. And he leads on the restart ahead of Milan. We're back on the way for the final 7 laps of this race. So Dion Noel going to the inside of Don Danks as they enter Abbey. The other side goes wide, but goes for a spin as he keeps out of everyone's way on the restart. And Flying Kratz out of the race. He's come together with someone. So Flying Kratz race goes no further, and neither does the Alpine and Mr. Grumpy. Oh, that's terrible driving standards for Mr. Grumpy, because he joined the track in a dangerous manner and he took out the Mercedes of Gerber in the process. Dino going to the outside, plenty of space for him to position the car and get good drive coming out of the loop. This could well be him going up into 5th place here as they go down the Wellington Straight. Dino's going to get in front, and Dino is going to move up into 5th. And he does so. Whipkiller posts a new fastest up of the race. He's outside the top 10 at the moment, though, so he would not get that point. Dion Noel approaching the Red Bull with DRS. Steve's going to go defensive here. Noel will go to the outside. To the outside he goes, and into the lead on the road goes Dion Noel as Gerber enters the pits to retire the car. So we're down to 12 runners now. So Whipkiller goes through. And Dino's got past Milan, it seems, although Milan's fighting back. They're going to go side by side into Luffield. Dino surely will have the upper hand with more grip on the soft compound tyres than the McLaren. Onto the old pit straight they go. Can Dino keep his foot in it? To the outside he goes, and up into 4th place goes the Red Bull. So Dino is through up into 4th place. That's crucial in the battle for the race victory. Next up for him is Sarking in the Haas. Has the detection point, and Milan will be able to use the DRS to get back ahead of him. So Milan, with a little bit more ERS in store, is able to get back in front of the Red Bull and into 4th position on the road. Dino diving to the inside of the McLaren of Milan. There's contact, and there's contact again, and Milan's front wing's gone. Gareth Hall's through though, and I wonder if the Red Bull suffered damage in all that. By the way, Milan falls down the order. You can see on the left-hand side of his front wing is damaged, and he's going to fall down the order. We're going to watch these two go toe-to-toe now. Gareth Hall right behind the Red Bull with DRS. And 50 gets penalised for track limits. Gareth Hall gets in front of the Red Bull. So Gareth Hall could be in play of taking the race victory. We'll go back to the leaders though, because Dion Knoll is going to cross the line first, but he most certainly won't be taking the victory here at Silverstone. He crosses over the line. Steve second, but it's Gareth Hall. I believe he's going to do enough to take victory at Silverstone. Gareth Hall does not take victory, so Dion Knoll wins the British Grand Prix for Aston Martin. Hall is in second for Williams. Dino is third, Sarking fourth, Steve is in fifth, Istrai sixth. It's lights out, and away we go. Dion Knoll gets a better start than Tomo Jr. He could get on the inside as they go into turn one together. And Dion Knoll takes the lead. There's contact between the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo, and that could open the door for the Alpine of Joshua Rossi to pull alongside and take the lead here. They're going side by side through the king of turn two, and up towards Remus they go then. Contact made between the Alpine and the Aston Martin. Joshi on the inside, but Dion Knoll may have the high ground on the exit of the turn. There's the Alfa Romeo going off track there. That was Sabetti, but we've still seen Joshi and Dion Knoll going side by side. So Dion Knoll takes the lead with Tomo Jr. trying to fight back on the Alpine. Can he get into second place? The answer is no. So Dion Knoll leads, Joshi second, Tomo Jr. third, Sabetti out of Steve, Mr. Grumpy, Milan, Lutred, Istray and Sarking are your top 10 so far. So Steve will be going back out on track now. He's a lap down actually on them, all the drivers. As Joshi goes to the inside, look on the Aston Martin of Dion Knoll. Is this going to be a lead change here? Looks as though it is. Although Joshi's run wide, and Dion Knoll is making the switch back on the inside as they go towards turn four. Dion Knoll's going to have the luxury of the DRS before they get into the corner, so surely he's going to go back ahead of him here, and he does so.
Actually.
Yeah, he's run wide, and that's allowed Gareth Hall to get in on this. On the grass, would you believe it? What a move there from the Williams driver, Gareth Hall, up into 5th place by disposing 2 cars in one go, and that's despite putting 2 wheels on the grass. It could get tasty indeed as the 2 championship contenders go toe-to-toe, Williams versus Red Bull. Gareth Hall versus Dino, going side by side as they go towards turn 4 now. Can Dino go to the outside of the Williams? He does so on the soft compound, so that was an important manoeuvre there from Dino, gets up into 3rd place. Even in the bottom tier of the PlayStation category, this has put on some fantastic racing, not just in Austria, but in all the other races as well. As we watch Inossia make a move on Don Danks, coming towards the Remus curve. Inossia goes to the outside as he carries too much speed into the corner. I think he has contact made between the AlphaTauri and the Aston Martin. And Dino, it looks as though he's got the jump on the pair of them, so Dino takes advantage of Inossia and Don Danks' errors, and he's gone up into 3rd place behind Gareth Hall. Now, this is going to be a very interesting climax, because if Dino can get in front of Gareth Hall and try and pull away from it, it's going to be another interesting finale to this one. So Don Danks holding off Inossia for now, but Lutred is right behind him.
Love this.
He's gone wide. Yep, he's gone wide as Gareth on the exit of turn 3, and the Red Bull is going to go back through on him. So with these two battling for position, this is going to play into Tomo Jr.'s hands as we watch Dion Knoll go to the inside of the AlphaTauri there of Whip Killer. Or is it Don Danks? Sorry, it's Don Danks, I should say. Brilliant move there from Dion Knoll. Excellent manoeuvre there. So we go back to the race. Yeah, so Tomo Jr. on his final lap will lose the race victory to Gareth Hall, but he should do enough, I think, to keep his place on the podium. So Tomo Jr. coming round the penultimate corner and the last corner. He's going to cross over the line, and we'll wait to see where he ends up. He won't win the race, But it's Gareth Hall who's going to become the 7th different winner from the 7th different team to win in F13 in season 29 in the PSGL. Gareth Hall wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Tomo Jr. drops to 2nd with the time penalty applied. Dion Null is 3rd for Aston Martin. Dino's 4th for Red Bull. Sarking 5th. Don Dankstead finishes in 6th place. Istrai 7th. Jehovin, oh no, I think Sabati's moved up to 8th actually, unless I'm mistaken. Jehovin 9th, F13 Mo 10th. And they've got Dan, Inosia and Lutzered, the last of the finishers. Yeah. It's lights out, and away we go. Speakwin gets off the line 5, just to see if Milo made an even better start, but I think Speakwin is in the lead into turn 1 first. So Speed stays in the lead. Milo gets tipped round there. He's made contact with the Alpine of Mr. Grumpy, so that's the McLaren and the Alpine dropping back. Joshi Washi also running wide there in the Alpine, but he's going to combat there with the Red Bull there of Steve into 4th position. So Speakwin leads out of turn 4 there, ahead of Mr. Grumpy in 2nd place. Milam in 3rd, remarkably there. We thought he went round altogether. Then it's Joshi Washi in 4th. Steve ahead of Sabetti in his Camerals. Gerber in Nossi has made a great round from the back of the grid, up to 9th in the Aston Martin. Lutzered 10th, and Dino up to 11th from 20th, would you believe it? Here we go then. Is this going to be a change for the lead? It looks like it. Yes, it is. Is Mr. Grumpy going to fight this one back? No, he's not. So Milam into the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. That's how effective the DRS can be on this circuit, depending on how much ERS usage you are using at the same time. But Milam made it work. But the problem he's going to have is Mr. Grumpy's going to have DRS of his own on the pit straight.
Give it some months. 4 seconds behind. He's got to catch up.
He's just lost it coming out of turn 11. That's allowed Dino's Red Bull teammate Steve get back in on him here. And I think this is going to be a slam dunk overtake here for Steve, because Gareth Hall is going to have no defence whatsoever of holding off Steve with the DRS. Yeah, there's no way he'll send this off. He'll get into the slipstream to try and get him back, but Steve will have the upper hand. Also on the pit straight as they make their way through turn 16. DRS is now open on the Alpine. Which way is Milam going to go? I think it's going to go to the right-hand side, which he does so. Mr. Grumpy going to the left side. Can Mr. Grumpy? Yeah. So Milam has let Mr. Grumpy through. Milam didn't fight it off. He knew that Mr. Grumpy is on the mediums anyway, so he thought play it the safe way and just let him go through. So Milam lets Mr. Grumpy through, and Mr. Grumpy goes up to 2nd position. It's been a sensational drive for Mr. Grumpy. Starts on the hard tyres. It's paid dividends. Mr. Grumpy exits the last turn. He's going to win the Chinese Grand Prix in F13 in season 29 in the PSGL. Mr. Grumpy becomes the first repeat winner this season and takes a giant step back towards challenging for the championship. Milan comes home 2nd. And Inosia comes in 3rd, Steve 4th, Sebastian, there we go, look, here's the battle between Dion Nolan and Dino fighting over 6th place, and I think Dino's got the jump on Inosia, because Dion Nolan's down the inside, contact made between the pair of them. Now Dion Nolan is surely going to finish 6th, ahead of Dino, they cross over the line, so Dino, in fact, I think he got 6th in the end. It's lights out, and away we go. Steve gets off to a good start. Speakwin gets bobbed down, though, and has been swamped by the Aston Martin of Dion Knoll and the Alfa Romeo of Sabetti as they go through turn 1 together. So Steve, a long way out in the lead, and Sabetti gets in front of Dion Knoll into turn 2. Now they're coming towards the hairpin for the first time of turn 3. Everyone seems to get through this coast. One of the Haas is going over the coast quite heavily there, but everyone's through safely, and Steve gets off to a flyer start here, Jack. He's never won in the PSGL. He made his debut in season 2016. So not only is this going to be his first win of the season, but it's going to be his first ever PSGL victory. Steve in the Red Bull powers through turn 15 over the line to win the first ever F13 race in the PSGL in Portimao. Steve wins the Portuguese Grand Prix for Red Bull. An excellent drive from him, well deserved all the way through, and no one could stop him. Dion Knoll will finish 2nd. Sabetti crosses the line in 3rd place. Will he lose that though? Because Sarking should be coming over the line now. And Sarking goes to the podium by half a second. So Sarking comes home 3rd. Sabetti 4th. Speakwin finally gets his first points of the season in the Mercedes. Inosia 6th. Lutzered will finish in a fine 7th place. Well deserved. He deserved more, to be quite honest with you, given how he's done. And he comes home 6th, in fact, because of Inosia's time penalty. So Inosia drops back. Istry's time penalty is not going to keep him in 8th, so he comes over the line now. Turn 1 first. The 5 red lights appear in front of the drivers. It's lights out, and away we go. Dion Knoll got the better start than Mr. Grumpy. Going to lead into turn 1 in place, and there's a collision at the back involving an Alfa Romeo. Sabetti's out already. We'll come to that in a moment. We've got a virtual safety car, but Dion Knoll has got the jump on Mr. Grumpy already, Jack. But we can see some action involving Mr. Grumpy. Goes right round the outside of Tomo Jr. And is this fourth place going to him? I think it is. So what a move there for Mr. Grumpy. Got the power down a little sooner than the Alfa Romeo. He's made his way past.
Oh, the chicane, isn't it?
Oh, contact behind. Gareth Hall's wrecked his front wing. Was trying to pass Luke Red. He did it at turn 6. And his race has gone from bad to worse for the championship contender. And he's going to fall well back after that. Yeah, it's Don Duncan, the AlphaTauri. We'll come to that in a moment. As Thomas Jr. goes to the outside of Mr. Grumpy. And he moves back into third place. Oh, is that Gerber in the wall? Yes, it is. His front wing's gone. So Gerber's front wing has gone and the safety car has been deployed. I mean, all the time. But having said that, Thomas Jr. does have that penalty as well. So Mr. Grumpy with the use of his ERS. Oh, and Carroll's jumps across and a bit too late still. So he needs to be careful here and make sure he leaves him. Yeah, contact made. And still makes contact with the Alpine. Mr. Grumpy will not like that one bit, but he gets past at least anyway.
Yeah, he's DRS. He's going to get past.
Yeah, he's got through anyway. Cameron has got the DRS as well. Don Danks has retired on the exit of the chicane as Dino Knoll gets ahead of Dino into second place. That's an important move in the championship race. But they're going to go side by side. Oh, the top two. Contact made on the pit straight. Dino keeps his foot in it and allows Dino Knoll to go past. And they still made contact before they go into turn 1. This is getting personal now between the two drivers, the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. And Dino Knoll may have damage throughout all that.
Tomo going to hang on the outside, bit of contact.
Contact! They still make contact! Yeah, he's hit the wall, and that's allowed Mr. Grumpy and Dino to get through. And then NSR almost. Yeah, so NSR is through as well. Istry's got through. F13 Mo's got through. So Tomo Jr. will be absolutely furious with the Haas's driving there, and he's fallen down big time. Gareth Hall, though, has moved up into 7th place through all this. Yeah, and it'll be the first back-to-back victory for F13 as well. We've not had anyone do that before. Mr. Grumpy will have DRS on this back straight then. Steve doesn't, and Mr. Grumpy is going to go up into 2nd place on the road. But remember, Steve does not have a time penalty. Gerber and Mr. Grumpy and all the others do. Oh, Gerber's out! So the second Mercedes is off. He's in the wall, and we've got yet another safety car. So Gerber, who was running in the race lead, has thrown it all away on the exit of turn 9 with 5 laps to go. I tell you what, Dino's fallen well far behind there before they got to the final chicane. But Mr. Grumpy leads then on the penultimate lap. There's no DRS now for the remainder of this race, so it's all down to pure driver skill. Who can withstand the pressure?
NSR here, this could be big.
This could be big. Yeah, here we go. Look, Gareth Hall on the inside of NSR. Has he done it? No, he hasn't. Contact with him and Tomo Jr. in the Alfa Romeo at turn 1 and turn 2. That's a bad blow there for Gareth Hall and his championship hopes. There's still 5 races to go after this one, but this is not what he needed. He could have been on the podium had not been for that collision, but he's thrown it all away as Gareth Hall through NSR's antics. No, I'm not sure if he will do. But Mr. Grumpy is going to take the checkered flag, but he's not going to take the victory. So it's Steve who will take the Canadian Grand Prix victory. Steve gets to the top step for the 2nd week running. Steve wins the Canadian Grand Prix for Red Bull. Just wait for everyone to cross over the line because it could change. Mr. Grumpy is shown in 2nd at the moment, and it's NSR in 3rd place. Dino 4th, Sarking 5th, Gareth Hall 6th, Josh Iwashi 7th, F53 Mo 8th, Milan 9th, Istry 10th, Suzuka. It's lights out, and away we go. Speaker was a little bit slow off the line. Dino Knoll reacted slightly better, but look at Flying Krat cutting through the pair of them. He's going to lead into the first turn. So Flying Krat into the lead for a moment, but Speedquin fights back. So Speedquin remains in the lead at the moment with Flying Krat in 2nd place. It's Dion Knoll. He's crashed out. Oh, that's a terrible shame there for Dion Knoll. They didn't need that on that 3 of the race. He closed up on the top 2. He must have caught the curve on the exit of the hairpin. And that's pitched him. That's pitched him into the wall, and Dion Knoll's race is over. That's a very, very bad dent in his championship hopes. The virtual safety car is deployed for the 2nd time, but Dion Knoll's race has come to a premature close. It's not the full safety car of which Face Whitkiller, Josh, NSR, Lennon and Gerber will have wanted, but we could get that very shortly. But Speakwin in the race lead still at the moment with Flying Krat in P2. And Gareth Hall down to 14th place behind Clausen, who's on dries. Oh, Clausen spun! And nearly took Gareth Hall with him. How on earth he did not make contact with him, I do not know. So I think we're close to getting to that crossover point, but not quite so. Speakwin didn't get the best of exits coming out of the Castillo Triangle chicane, though, and that's going to allow Mr. Grumpy to close in and be able to use the DRS. Here we go, look. Down the inside, and Mr. Grumpy is going to take the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. Wait and see, as Sarking desperately needing to get in front of Mr. Grumpy here. He needs to do it before he gets caught up in... No, he won't do it through 130R. See, will be waiting. Oh, there's contact! That's the Alfa Romeo. Oh, they luckily caught it in time, those guys. That could have so easily been a wild accident coming out to 130R. Speaker with Manu faster, Mr. Grumpy in the pits, and wisely so. Yeah, he's holding up Dan. He's holding up Sabetti, he's holding up Josh. Steve's through. So Steve gets past Sarking. I think Sarking knew he was going to get him on the straight anyway. But Steve goes past and into second position. And leading a lot of the race. I don't think I could have picked a more deserved winner out of this one than him. Here he comes then into the Casio Triangle chicane for the last time. Speakwin, for the time being at least anyway, depending on penalties being dished out by the stewards afterwards. Speakwin exits the last turn to win the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka in F13 of the PSGL. Very well done to him. Steve crosses the line, second on the road, but it's Sarking who goes to second place. Very well done to him. Steve is down to third, Flying Crack fourth. Dino is fifth from the back of the grid. Garofol will only be sixth. He's lights out, and away we go. Gerber gets off very, very well. Sarking not so good. Look at Stilo coming through from fourth on the grid. He's going to go to the inside of both the Haas and the Aston Martin of Diarnol. And the Rebels up to second place. He'll get better drive coming out of turn one. And Steve's through. So Steve crucially up to second place ahead of the Aston Martin. Gerber remains in front though as the field come through the S's. There's no contact so far by the looks of things. So it's all good at the front with Gerber leading, Steve second, Diarnol third, Sarking fourth. It's Josh keeping hold of fifth place with Jumpy, Mr. Grumpy, Betty, Milam and Istrai running out the top 10 so far, Jack Tyler. That was great defending from Sabetti. Very, very nice indeed. He's run a bit too deep though into 13. Dino just needs to be careful. It is on camera this bit here, so it's very easy to lose traction. Dino diving to the inside of Sabetti into turn 15, and that's a very nice move. It was a little bit Daniel Ricciardo-esque, but boy, did it pay off. The fuel has already been burnt off, so he won't need to put as much load into those tyres as he would have done earlier in the race, and he makes contact with Luke Red. I don't know how to call that one, to be honest with you. He did come out, but that was rather marginal of Steve to just muscle his way past Luke Red. He was probably going to get past him anyway, but I think that may look a bit too robust, but I could well be wrong. Here we go, look, on the inside, and he's doing ahead of Dino, so Dino having no defence against that, and Garofol crucially passed his rival for sixth place, and I doubt that will be the last overtake we'll see from him between now and the end of this. It's mouth-watering stuff here in Austin as Diarnol has the DRS behind Sabetti, and this is going to be the Aston Martin breezing past the Alfa Romeo and up into a little bit defenceless. And that was nearly contact. The contact again! That is naughty from Diarnol. Now, to be fair, Sabetti did do a bit of the same. Yeah, so Steve right on the rear of Gareth Hall as they exit coming out of turn one. Steve has that penalty, remember, so this is vital that he gets past and pull away from Gareth Hall as soon as he can as they make their way through the as is Gareth Hall, as you can see, having to fight his car. Steve has more grip in there than the Williams as they come through the uphill corners of turn 8 and turn 9. C will be...
Don't overtake.
Yeah, you don't want to be overtaking there at turn 11, so he just waits behind. Doesn't want to be waiting too far back though, because this tries there as well. So Steve needs to get this move done now with the DRS. Here we go, look, DRS is open, and Garofol, I think, is going to struggle to fend this off, and I think Istrai should take advantage of the open door and find a way through as well. Steve gets through into 4th, Istrai into 5th. Look at this, Aero Specialist down the inside of Sarking into turn 12. He muscles away past, but the door's still open for the Haas driver to retaliate into 13, but Aero Specialist has taken the lead on the road here in Austin. Coming around the last turn to start the penultimate lap, but Diarnol to the inside, and this should be him going into the race lead with 2 laps remaining. So Diarnol back in familiar territory, on course for the race victory, but the next enemy standing in his way is the weather.
No, I think Diarnol's got this wrapped up for back.
And Aero Specialist spun! It's hit the wall, but Diarnol is going to come round the last corner, tiptoes his way over the line to win the US Grand Prix in Austin. Diarnol takes it for Aston Martin. Steve is on course to finish second by the looks of things. We just see the gaps I don't think he will do. So Sarking will be in second place on the race result. Stee is third. Istrai at the moment is fourth, ahead of Aero Specialist. Mr. Grumpy will drop back behind Gareth Hall. So Gareth Hall will be sixth. Mr. Grumpy will be seventh. Absolutely. The cars are on the grid. Tensions rise. The engines will begin to roar. The drivers will stare at 5 red lights for the last time in F13 in season 29. The 5 red lights illuminates when they go out. We'll be racing. It's lights out, and away we go. Dion Knoll gets off to a poor start. Sarkin gets away well. What about the Rebels? Dino's ahead of Dion Knoll already. He's on the inside of Sarkin into the center S. Sarkin holds on the inside. Dino knows he just needs to finish in front of Dion Knoll, but he's leading. So Dino leads ahead of Sarkin and makes a mistake at the Curve of the Soul. He's going to drop back behind the other Red Bull of Stee and the Aston Martin of Dion Knoll. So a poor getaway there from Sarkin through the first few corners, but Dino into the lead. He got the start he needed. Jack Tyler. Dino's one wide. Dino's got a poor exit coming out of turn 1, and that allows C to close right up on his teammate. Now, if you're Red Bull, what do you do here?
He's going for it.
He's allowing it through, look. So Dino allows his teammate through, does not fight it. So Stee into the lead of this race. Yeah, so they're definitely going side by side. Big de Pato. Dino gets back through ahead of Dion Knoll. This is a battle for the championship, remember. Dion Knoll round the outside of McGillio. Can he pull off an astonishing manoeuvre there? We ride on board of him as they go through Young Cow for the 8th time in this race. And Dion Knoll still within a car's length alongside. Dino needs to play it safe here. And Dion Knoll nearly run out onto the grass there. Dino still in front. Steve posts a new fastest lap. Dion Knoll goes to the outside of Dino into turn 1. And Dino stays in front for now. Although Dion Knoll's alongside. And he's through. Wow. And he's going to think about going for a move. There is Mr. Grumpy alongside as well. Mr. Grumpy on the inside. Gareth Hall's still there though. And Mr. Grumpy's through, but Gareth Hall's got the DRS as well as the Alpine. Now, will the Alpine have the DRS? Yes, he will do, because he was within a second of Alimonda. So Gareth Hall down to 5th position on track. Round the outside he goes. He's battling back. There was a slight bit of contact, but nothing more than that. Jehovin gets overtaken by Dion Knoll now. Choose to do that. Mr. Grumpy through on Alimonda for 3rd place now. Or is he? Because Alimonda's still alongside into the Senna S, and Alimonda stays in front for now. Gareth Hall want to get in on the act here. Here we go then, on to the Retro Aposta. Gareth Hall's got DRS. Oh my goodness me, a drag race down to the Cedar Lago. And would you believe it? Gareth Hall completes an astonishing double overtake on the Alpine and the AlphaTauri to put his Williams back up to 3rd place. So don't be at all surprised to see Dion Knoll just charging down the sector times, closing in on those ahead. Mr. Grumpy looking to fight back on the Williams here, but he's running out of his ERS usage. But he's still got enough speed advantage into the Senna S to pull alongside. Gareth Hall may decide to slot in this time, which he does so. He'll have the DRS for the Retro Aposta. He's getting a bit caught out by the turbulent air there of the Alpine, which is putting him off kilter a little bit. And now, as he looks to go to the outside of the Alpine, that's very late on the break. On the race, he managed to get the car slowed down in time, and he was lucky to not lose the position to Alimonda behind. It's been a textbook combat going on here between Mr. Grumpy, who, to be honest with you, should have been fighting for the championship had it not been for his misdemeanors earlier on in the season. Gareth Hall going to the outside of Dale Kelleher, otherwise known as. And as they go on to the Retro Aposta on the exit of the Curve of the Soul, the DRS opens on Gareth Hall's car to the inside into Cedar Lago, and Mr. Grumpy lives on to fight another day. He's 2.9, he's almost there. So C comes round, he's using the remaining ERS. It's not over yet though. We need to wait until the cars go over the line. Steve coming round for Red Bull. Has he done enough to win the Sao Paulo Grand Prix? He goes over the line now. So we wait for Sarking. It's Sarking who wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix by 0.2 of a second with the penalties applied. Gareth Hall will come in third. We're ahead of Mr. Grumpy and Alimonda. But look at this. Dino over the line in 6th place, and he becomes the F13 PSGL champion of the world. Very well done to the Red Bull driver. Dino is your man.